Welcome back to another episode of Business Beyond the Game. I'm Eric Jackson, and we're joined by Team Penske driver and Indy 500 winner, Josef Newgarden. Joseph, how are you, man?
I'm great. Great to be here, dude.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Appreciate you coming on. And, I think these days, I bet you're feeling like $1 million, huh? How's everything?
It's been wild. It's a surreal experience to actually win the Indianapolis 500. It was my 12th attempt, so I've been, trying for quite a while, and it's certainly been, more sweet, more enjoyable after going through all the hard times. I mean, whenever you leave the Indy 500 as someone other than the winner, you're pretty much heartbroken. And so to have heartbreak 11 years in a row and then to come back and have a full heart, it's been amazing. Just a dream come true.
I know. Before we get into it, Joseph, can you just explain to us, what was that moment like just for you and your family finally crossing the finish line, after 11 years of frustration, just to, what's that moment like?
Yeah, it's just I think it's relieving for everybody. For me, it's meant family. People ask what does the Indy 500 mean, and for me, it's been the journey and it's the sacrifice that everyone has put into it, and I think everybody shared in that. They shared in the relief of being able to finally conquer, that one race, and people put a lot of pressure on it, and build it up as this mountain, and it is. I mean, the Indy 500, it stands alone
Right.
in our sport. It is the most pressure packed day, and it's the hardest race to win on the calendar, but we have many races on our calendar that build up to a championship, and this one is like kind of elusive for a lot of people. So I just felt the relief and the joy for everybody, and like I said, it meant family to me. I really thought about everyone that put something into it.
Yeah, what was it like just pouring the milk down, celebrating with teammates, everyone, just that whole post
It's
celebration?
special. It's an iconic event. When you think of the the great sporting events across the world, that the Indy 500 is in that conversation. Being able to be handed the milk, drink the milk,
Yeah.
pour the milk all over you, pour the milk on the crew. Like, it's just an iconic place, and there's all these traditions that you're not allowed to do unless you win the race, and it's so special to be
Right.
have the privilege to actually share in those traditions. And yeah, it was just such an honor, to be there with the team and to represent our group, and sharing the moment together.
Yeah, no, Joseph. So, I'm curious your thoughts here, right? What's better, Joseph, to win the IndyCar Series or winning the Indy 500 and, hoisting that Borg Warner
I
trophy?
think they're so separate, that we get that question so often on what would you rather have? Would you trade a championship for 500, vice
Right.
versa? And, I just, it's a difficult question to answer. I think the moment of winning the 500 the first time is definitely, it's been greater than winning the championship, because it was so, difficult to do and win that one day.
Right.
But I still take so much pride in winning a championship. I think that's a different challenge than winning the 500. You've got to be perfect throughout the year, and not just perfect on a day, and not just have everything go right on one day. So the 500 still stands alone. It's our toughest race of the year. It's what you take the most pride in. But I think you know
Right.
the championship is still something that's so incredibly difficult to do. So I wouldn't trade. I don't think I'd trade any of them. I wouldn't trade championships that we've had for 500 and vice versa. They just sit in two different categories to me.
No, I love that for sure. Because some guys are like the 500, no doubt, but I like very diplomatic of you, Joseph. There. Um, Now, Joseph, with your win, you earned a record 3.6 million for your first place finish. Any thoughts yet on how you will spend that? You can buy a lot of hot
Um,
chicken in
well, I think my
Nashville
wife's already
with that.
started. We're in New York. She left at lunch, and she was gone for a couple hours. So I hope it's not all gone at this point. But definitely, we're gonna buy. Yeah, so we're gonna get some good food. I'd love a nice sushi dinner. That would be fantastic. That's like at the top of my list right now. So it's crazy. The purse. I think this was the biggest purse they said they've ever had at the Indianapolis 500, and
Right.
it's a big number, $3.6 million. So I just it's like the gift that keeps on giving. If you're able to win this race, there's just, it's one thing after the other. Like it's ridiculous the amount of things that just start piling on. They're like, oh, you get to do this and you get this, and there's this gift and you get this belt buckle from these people, and it's just a lot of little things and big things too. So yeah, hard to put it into words.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm told that you've always, since you kind of started your career, took a portion of your earnings, right, and kind of put it into investing and other, pockets. I'm curious your approach on that, right? When you look at different companies and, what do you look for, right? Joseph,
Yeah,
when you're trying to invest?
it's tough. I love financial literacy. I think we need more of it in this country, really around the world. I think every young person should, feel confident and empowered to look out for themselves financially and make great decisions. I think we lack a lot of that personally, but I'm in such a unique position, and I try and make sure I remember that I'm in an amazing position. I get to race and
Mhm.
live my dream, and it takes a lot of hard work. It's not just a fun job; it's still a job at the end of the day.
Right.
But the position that I'm
Mhm.
in really allows me to, make strong financial decisions for the future. And so this conversation that you're asking about is incredibly important to me. I think anyone that's in a financially secure position and is able to work hard, year after year to get ahead should really make great sound decisions on budgeting and what they're investing in. And
Right.
so for me, I love to look after a portfolio myself. I try and spread things out as prudently as possible. I think you should have multiple buckets,
Mhm.
and you should be understanding what each one's purpose is. And for sure, the position that I have, I can think very long term, and I can be quite aggressive. I'm a young guy still. I think, if racing stopped working out, there's something else that I think I could get involved in to still, produce income.
Mhm.
So I have a pretty risky portfolio on one side, and I think as long as you understand the risk and balance that you need to have, you can take that sort of position when you're in an opportunity like I have.
Yeah, do you just kind of tell the other guys this, like the younger guys on the series, like, look out for your chicken, as Marshawn Lynch says.
I do.
What advice?
Yeah, you'd be blown. I mean, you're probably not going to be blown away. I mean, it happens a lot. People, they
Yeah,
live in the moment. They live on basically the top of everything that's coming in. They're right on the threshold of like what's coming in is going out, and it's just, you can't.
right.
It's not a smart way to go about it. You can have an amazing life on. I mean, especially me. I
Mhm.
think about it. If like everything got chopped down 90%, we could still live an amazing life. And if you look at it in
Right,
that lens, and you're not always trying to just be, at the threshold and the highest we can go all the time, you can set yourself up
right.
for really great success in the long run and have many, many happy years in the future. So, yeah, I try and give that advice to people that I come across, or especially young drivers. It's a little bit unique in motorsports. I think, you know, I find drivers to be a lot more savvy on the business side because it is a business as well as a sport. Racing the
Mhm.
car is the sporting side, but finding the money, the backing to be able to pay for the
Right.
cars and the mechanics and everyone that shows up, it's so much more intrinsically linked than a different sport that you end up becoming quite savvy on what's important, and how do you organize these sort of things in your life.
Wow, that's a great point, right? Wearing the sponsors as you're performing, right? Yeah, it totally makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, Joseph, what's the best business lesson that you've gotten in your time racing?
Ooh, it's so difficult to choose one. I think, being able to certainly being able to observe Roger Penske, my boss, has been an amazing opportunity. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met, but he's also one of the kindest and
Mm,
caring. And I felt like I understood this a little bit before joining the team, and getting to observe Roger Penske and how he built his corporation and his brand. But it takes people to do everything in this world. It's near impossible to do anything solely by yourself. And he always speaks about the human capital of our company
mm,
and our race team, and how that is the most important ingredient. And I think it's so true, whether it's just on the pure competition side, the people that I interact with most closely when we're at a race weekend trying to win a race together, or it's a deeper
right.
layer of that, of how are we building the team, and how are we moving forward every year. It's no different than anything else in life, or any company that you're working in. It's the human capital, that component is the most critical, and trying to, leverage each other, and really get the most out of each individual that you come across, and take care of the people that are around you. I think that comes back to you, in spades every
Right.
time. So I've always tried to keep that a priority in my life, and what I focus on.
Yeah, no, for you now with the a brighter spotlight now, Joseph. Do you hope to just continue your push? You mentioned financial literacy. Kind of spreading that more. Whether through kids or through sport. I'm curious your long term future now with this brighter spotlight.
I I would love to. It's funny. I've not done much work with that. Maybe there is something that I could get involved with to help educate more people on. It's funny. I just look at like the schooling system that we have in America, and I feel like there's a lot more reasonable skill sets that people aren't taught, that would set
Mm-hmm.
everybody up for more success in their lives. And I think, just personally, I think about my son. I want to make sure he has all the tools and all the information at his disposal so that he can make great decisions in his life. And I would wish that for everybody in the world. I think everybody should have the opportunity to make great decisions. And so, maybe that's what it is. Maybe we need to start an organization just called Great Decisions, and people can learn how to sort everything out for themselves.
No, I love it. I love it. That might be a working title, right? In the mix
Exactly.
right
I'm,
now.
I'm already thinking of it. Yeah, you sparked it.
Formulating it live on the show. That's great. Well, Joseph, I appreciate your time, and congrats on winning the Indy 500, and I
Thanks
appreciate
so
it.
much.